Most of the people who hate you are already close enough to stab you. They smile at your wins. They ask how your day was. They wait. Machiavelli spent his life studying men exactly like this, and he wrote down how to spot every one of them in language sharp enough to still cut 500 years later. 7 behaviors, no filler, no fluff, straight from the source material. Watch until the end, because number 7 is the one that fools almost everyone. Let's dive in. Behavior 1. They shrink everything you build. You land the promotion. You finally close the deal you worked a year for. And what comes back is flat. That's nice. Good for you. Words with no weight behind them. Real friends get loud when you win. Your success lands on them like it's theirs too. A hidden enemy does math instead of feeling anything. Your win becomes their loss the moment they compare it to their own life. So they downsize it. They find the flaw. They mention someone who did it bigger, faster, better, not because accuracy matters to them, because your growth is a mirror and they hate what it shows. Watch the eyes, not the mouth. The mouth says, congratulations. The eyes stay flat, already moving on to the next subject, already looking for a way to change the topic before your win gets any bigger in the room. That gap between the words and the face is where the truth lives. Machiavelli noticed this pattern 400 years before comment sections existed. People, he wrote, are quicker to criticize than to praise, because tearing something down costs nothing and admitting someone else did better costs everything. Envy never announces itself, it just quietly recalculates your achievement until it's small enough to swallow. Behavior 2, they vanish the second you stop being useful. Everyone wants a seat at your table when the table is full. Watch what happens when it's empty. Watch who answers at midnight versus who only answers when you're throwing a party. Machiavelli said it flat out. It's much safer to be feared than loved. Not because love is worthless, because people are ungrateful and unreliable by nature, quick to disappear the second loyalty stops being convenient. He wasn't describing strangers. He was describing the people standing closest to you, the ones who call themselves your circle. A hidden enemy doesn't need to attack you. They just need to go quiet at the exact moment you need them to stay. Then they come back once the storm passes, acting like nothing happened, asking you how you're holding up as if they'd been there the whole time. Most people let it slide because calling out an absence feels petty. It isn't. Absence is a decision every single time. A man doesn't forget how to text you. He decides you weren't worth the message. Behavior 3. They protect you into staying small. This one wears the softest mask of all. It doesn't sound like an attack. It sounds like love. I'm just worried about you. I don't want to see you get hurt. Maybe slow down. Machiavelli built half his philosophy on one brutal observation. People judge more by appearances than first-hand experience. A hidden enemy uses that exact blind spot against you. Concern and control look identical if you're not paying attention, so they dress restriction up as care. Every time you get bold, they hand you a reason to shrink. Not because they think you'll fail, because if you succeed, they have to explain why they never tried. Notice the timing. Real concern shows up before the risk, when it can still change your decision. Fake concern shows up after you've already committed, right when the only thing it can accomplish is planting doubt. One protects you. The other just wants credit if you fail, and silence if you don't. Behavior 4. They study you like a competitor, not a friend. Here's a story. Nothing dramatic, just something that happens in 1,000 apartments every week. Mark used to send his old college roommate updates about his new business. Small wins, nothing major. His roommate never asked one real question about the business itself. Every reply came back the same way. A comment about how tired Mark looked, or how risky the whole thing sounded. 6 months later, Mark found out his roommate had quietly copied 2 of his supplier contacts and started a version of the same company on the side. Mark only found out by accident, scrolling a page he was never supposed to see. That's not friendship. That's reconnaissance wearing a friendly face. Real support asks how it's going because it wants to help. A hidden enemy asks how it's going because it wants to measure the gap between you and them and eventually close it. They remember details you don't even remember sharing, your schedule, your suppliers, your numbers, because they were never listening as a friend. They were taking notes. Before behavior 5, if you've ever caught someone doing this to you, drop a 1 in the comments right now so you remember later that your gut was right before your mind caught up. Behavior 5, they spread doubt instead of stating facts. An open enemy argues with you to your face. A hidden one never will. They ask questions instead. I could be wrong, but has something seemed off with them lately? One sentence dropped in a group chat, and 3 people are quietly rewriting their opinion of you without a shred of evidence. Nobody remembers who started it. Everyone just remembers the feeling. Machiavelli had a word for this exact move: calumny. He drew a hard line between an accusation, which needs proof, and a calumny, which needs nothing but a whisper repeated enough times. He pointed to Giovanni Guicciardini, a Florentine army commissioner whose enemies spread word that he'd been bribed by the enemy after a siege at Lucca failed to go his way. No evidence, no trial, no formal place to clear his name, just a rumor that spread until it nearly broke him. An accusation forces proof into the open. A calumny needs none, which is exactly why cowards prefer it. It lets someone else do the damage while the hidden enemy keeps their hands clean, watching the fallout from a safe distance, ready to look shocked if anyone ever asks where it started. By the time you trace it back, the damage is already done. Behavior 6. They go cold the moment you stop asking permission. You set a boundary. You stop apologizing for your opinions. You stop explaining decisions to people who never earned an explanation in the first place. And suddenly you're different, distant, full of yourself. Nothing about you actually changed except your willingness to be managed. Frank Underwood never needed enemies who yelled at him. He collected the quiet kind. The ones who smiled in the room and worked against him the second he turned around. That's fiction, but it's built on something real. Julius Caesar learned the same lesson the hard way. The senators who killed him weren't strangers. They were men who had dined at his table and earned enough trust to get close. Confidence exposes people. The ones who like the version of you that needed their approval will not like the version of you that stopped asking for it. They're not upset about who you became. They're upset about who they still are, standing next to you, unchanged. Behavior 7. They feel relief when you fail, not sadness. This is the one nobody wants to admit exists, because it looks so much like sympathy on the surface. You hit a setback, they say all the right words. So sorry, that's rough, but watch closely. No urgency in it, no follow-up, no real interest in how you recover. Just a strange, quiet calm, like something in them finally exhaled. Machiavelli named the root of it directly. Men hate things either from fear or from envy. Your failure removes the envy. It closes the gap they've been measuring themselves against, and for the first time in a while, they don't feel behind you. Squid Game gets this without ever saying it out loud. Players smile, form alliances, promise loyalty, and every one of them is quietly grateful when someone else gets eliminated instead of them. Nobody has to be cruel to benefit from your loss. They just have to stand still and let it happen. Comfort with your downfall is a verdict on how they've felt about you the entire time. It just took your failure to finally show it. 7 behaviors, none of them loud, none of them accidental. Machiavelli didn't write The Prince to make men paranoid. He wrote it in exile, stripped of the government post he'd held for years, with plenty of time to replay exactly who had stood beside him and who had quietly stepped away. The goal was never to hate everyone back. It was to stop being surprised. You don't need to expose every person who's ever done this to you. You don't need a confrontation, a speech, or a dramatic exit. You need to notice the pattern, then decide quietly who still gets access to your time, your plans, and your wins before you've even celebrated them yourself. That decision, made calmly and without an audience, is the only real power you have in any of this. Everyone else just reacts. Machiavelli's whole point was to stop reacting and start choosing. If any of this hit closer than you expected, there's more waiting for you on Patreon. Full videos I can't post here, the ones too sharp, too direct, or too likely to get flagged by an algorithm that punishes honesty. That's the only place they live. Before you go, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because the next one won't find you on its own. Links in the description if you're ready for it. I'll see you soon.